Good morning. Warscroll design contest. I asked my Discord to come up with some Warscrolls for a Cruel Boys light cavalry unit that was 100 points or under. So in my head, it was something like, okay, Hobgrot's riding something, like a Gnash Tooth pack, like something like this. Something that was very light, fast, low damage, easy to kill, but provides a lot of utility and support. And so I wanted to share the top three entries. So we posted them in Discord, and everybody got a chance to vote on their favorite one, and these were the top three that came out. One of the goals of things like this for me is just to have, the community put together a bunch of ideas, and so hopefully maybe these ideas go off into the ether and will inspire someone at GW to write something interesting and good, right? Like, it doesn't hurt to put ideas out there. So it's always kind of a good idea. So there was a clear winner, and then second place was tied between two different Warscrolls. So let's have a look. But first, thanks to my patron Panda, thanks Wiberian for all the art, and buy some dice, will ya? So up tied for second was a Warscroll called Knight Teras. And this was submitted by Blade in the Discord, a very helpful and consistent contributor to the community. So shout out to Blade. So this is a Knight Teras. So it's 100 points, 12-inch move, 6 up save, 2 wounds, and 10 bravery. And does it say? Yeah, so the unit size is 3, and they are on 50mm bases. So that's quite a chonky boy. And at the bottom here, too, it says Battle Line if General is a kill boss. So it has some Battle Line potential, which is something else that we are so desperate for. In Cruel Boys. It is a really cool idea where you have... I like the idea of conditional Battle Line. I do like that idea. It shakes up, what the army's actually doing and what it can do. It also gives you a reason to play some generals over other generals. Right now, if we're looking at, do you want the Sludge Raker as the general, or do you want this guy as the general? It's the answer is always relatively obvious. It's whatever one you're going to try to keep alive. But it's hey, if the general's a kill boss, you can have these guys as battle line. Well, that changes the value of a 90-point kill boss, or is he 80 points now? I can't remember. Kill boss on foot, right? Anyway, so we got a Arson-bellied Toad. So this is a 8-inch range, 1 attack, so it'll be 3 dice, 5s and 5s, no rend, and 2 damage. So I assume, this thing is an Auric, and it's a Cruel Boy, so we're just looking for some Venom-encrusted weapon procs here. Arson-bellied Toads for, it's just 3 dice, right? But the 5s and 5s don't matter. We're probably not going to get much damage off that, but that's okay. I have a feeling this unit is not here for the damage. Melee weapons, we have Toxic Gigs, 2-inch range, so 2-inch range is cool. 2 attacks, so 6 altogether, 5s and 5s, no rend, 1 damage. And then Chompy Bits, 1-inch range, 2 attacks, so 6 total, 4s and 4s, no rend, 1 damage. So given that it's 1 damage and given that it's a relatively low volume of dice, we're looking at throwing 12 dice here, right? Yep, we're looking at throwing 12 dice here, so we're going to average 2 mortal wounds and probably not much else. So in ranged and in melee, almost no damage, right? But I have a feeling that's not what these guys are here for. This unit can fly. Oh, and Chompy Bits is the mount, so you don't even get Venom and Crusted Weapons on there, so even less damage than I was thinking. So this unit can fly, so 12-inch flying unit. I'm in already. So going all out. When this unit receives an all-out attack or all-out defense command, it enters a Guano Hysteria. Very flavorful. When it does, until the end of that phase, if a model in this unit is slain, roll a dice. On a 2-up, pick a unit within 3 inches of that model. The picked unit suffers D3 mortal wounds. In addition, until the end of that phase, do not use the attack sequence for melee attacks made by models in this unit. Instead, the attacking models are slain. Okay. In addition, until the end of the phase, do not use the attack sequence for melee attacks made by models in this unit. Instead, the attacking models are slain. So you suicide them in. They're suicide bombers. On a 2-up, something within 3 takes D3 mortal wounds. So it's 9. It's 6 mortal wounds on average between them. 12-inch. So they have it. So their 6-up save almost doesn't matter. Their wounds almost don't really matter. That's cool. These things die to Unleash Hell like crazy though, right? Because they're not going to make their saves if they have any rend. And they only have 6 wounds for the whole unit, so they definitely die to Unleash Hell. But yeah, these are suicide bombers. It's pretty cool, like Bat Riders. I like it. Let's look at number 2 here, or the next one. So this one was also tied for second place. This is Hobr Mudruners. And if I'm not mistaken, I do believe that Aaron Newbaum submitted this one. He's Aaron Gellion in the Discord, a proven Cruel Boys player. So we have 90 points for a unit size of 3. It doesn't say the base size. We'll have to just infer here. There's so much information on these things. So it's a 12-inch move, 6-up save, 3 wounds, and a 4 bravery. So let's see. Musician, got rip a boss, mount. I'm just trying to guess how many models are in this. Oh, it's, sorry, 3 unit size. I'm gonna probably Sill Strider. Oh, I remember he showed me this. One second. So here was the concept art. Aaron was sharing me this. I hope you don't mind me sharing this, Aaron, because I think it's very good concept art. So it's like a giant bird with a little hobgrot, and he's got a little flingy grenade, right? He's got a little like slingshot grenade, looks like. So that's kind of the idea. So I'm expecting these things are on I'd probably guess at least 40s, right? I'm guessing these guys are on at least 40s, but maybe on 50s. Cool, so let's see. Sulfuric Shrapnel Bomb, so a 10-inch range, 3 attacks, so it's going to be 9 attacks total, 4s to hit, 3s to wound, 1 rend, 1 damage. So actually not the worst profile ever, right? Not the worst profile ever. 1 more attack than the Hobgrot grenades, but a 1 worse to hit. So, you know, with your all-out attack here. And so they don't get Venom Crested Weapon, right? Because they're not Oryx. So no Venom Crested Weapon procs here. So, yeah, 10-inch range, that's pretty cool. And then their melee weapons, Nasty Knives, 1-inch range, 1 attack, 4s to 4s, 0 rend, 1 damage, so not very much attack there. And then Vicious Kicks, so this is from the mount, so we're looking at 6 dice total here, so 2 each, 5s and 3s, no rend, 2 damage, and there's no Venom Encrusted Weapons on the Vicious Kicks, I'm going to assume. Yes, so Musician, add 1 to run and redeploy while this unit contains any musicians, cool. A Boss, add 1 to the attack characteristic of the Mudrunner boss, okay. Bombs away. When this unit receives the redeploy command, it can either immediately attack using its shrapnel, sulfuric shrapnel bombs, or may instead attack with that weapon after the redeploy is complete. So it gets to attack and redeploy. That's pretty cool. I like it. You throw these little bombs and then redeploy, or redeploy and throw these little bombs. And there's nothing here that says anything about Unleash Hell. So it's pretty cool. Gobsprat can issue it, and then they can get a reroll, right? That's pretty neat. I like it. And then first was this unit, and I think that this unit is definitely the strongest of the 3. If I was going to pick one to put on the table in front of me, I would absolutely have picked this one. For sure. So it's a 10-inch move, 5-up save, 2 wounds, 4 bravery. It's 100 points. We have Hobr Scouts. I do not think it says how many are in a unit. I don't think it says that, so we just have to guess. And what kind of mount is it? Swamp Cacklers. Okay, so it's like some kind of dog or cat. So maybe like on like the small mount, and then maybe I'd say probably a unit of 5, maybe a unit of 3, probably a unit of 5 on smaller bases. Maybe like the oblong, like the oval ones. Okay, so Slit a Stick. So 2-inch range, 2 attacks, 4s and 5s, no rend, 1 damage. So your typical kind of garbage Hobgrot attacks. Slobbering Jaws, 1-inch range, 2 attacks, 4s and 4s, 1 rend, 1 damage. So still like nothing very impressive here for attacks. And that's fine, right? Because that's what we're talking about with light cavalry unit. What we're really concerned about and interested in is what the other options are, like what the support role is going to be. So champion, right? Add 1 to the attack characteristic. That's fine. Scaredy Cats. When this unit receives the redeploy command, you can re-roll dice that determine the distance that this unit can move. So this is what Gobsprak does in the army. So these guys are going to be off probably on their own. So the fact that it's like a redundant ability isn't, you know, the coolest thing in the world, but it's also not, it's also going to be useful because, you know, like I said, they're going to be off on their own and not standing beside Gobsprak. And then here's the ability. Here's the butter. Cunning Mockery. At the start of the enemy movement phase, pick an enemy unit within 18 inches. Very generous range and not wholly within, just within 18 inches of any Hobr Scout unit. If that enemy unit makes a move this phase, it must finish that move closer to a friendly Hobr Scout unit. Designer note, this ability can only be used once per phase, no matter how many Hobr Scout units you have on the battlefield. So this thing, it's like, okay, you have to like move towards me. I'm gonna pick your thing that annoys me, and I'm gonna force you to move towards me. And that is such a powerful ability. This game is all about movement, and if I can say like, well, you have to move towards me, that means you're not getting to move where you want to move, and it's very, very strong. Another reason why this thing is insanely strong is because of Super Sneaky. If this unit was in the army, Super Sneaky becomes the default every single time without fail, and I think you run 2 of these units every single game. I think that's it. It's almost an auto include to Hobr Scouts. One, you're gonna Super Sneaky somewhere behind your opponent, and you're just gonna try to put them 18 inches away from something annoying that they have, some like their Squig Herd or their like something fast that wants to be very aggressive. You're just getting like a big monster that wants to move into the center of the board. Like there are so many good options. You can even do this on support heroes that want to keep up with the army and not fall behind. And so this changes the math of measuring out like their buff distances and stuff. It's like, well, you know, you either can't move, or if you do move, you have to kind of move closer to me, which, you know, if you remember from my Rabble Rouser video, you know, the way that those circles work, it's, you can actually still kind of get where you want to go and end the move closer, but if you position it properly, like, again, with Super Sneaky, it becomes really irritating and frustrating. And then the second unit of Hobr Scouts just, like, run up the board on the side, and this also will enable your Super Sneaky, or your Surround and Destroy. Like, you can turn 1 Surround and Destroy with Super Sneaky in the back line. Very, very easy to do and accomplish. Yep. And then the second unit's going to run up the side and try to use it the next turn, because you assume that the Hobr Scouts are going to die. So, right? So the second unit runs up the side and then pulls another unit. You know, it doesn't pull the unit towards them, but it just prevents them from, it leashes them almost. It's like, you can imagine that, right? Like the Hobr like throw out a line, and then, you know, you can't, it's like going to keep you in that leash, so you can move in an arc, you know, but it's like things gotta sort of not move towards them, but not move away from them either. Very good, very strong. Very good, very strong. I'm a big fan. I like this. And then last but not least, because I'm an egomaniac, I wanted to share mine, the one that I wrote. I thought mine was good. No one liked it. I didn't get any votes, but I thought it was good. So here's my Nash pup pack. So this is modeled very much on Griff Hounds. You know, why reinvent the wheel? I was looking at Griff Hounds and I was like, okay, like, because that's where I always start processes like this, is I look to see what exists that's comparable, like what's a light cavalry unit that's under 100 points that already exists in the game. And yeah, Griff Hounds it was. So we're at 90 points here. No missile weapons. Our melee attack is Ravenous Jaws and Claws, so just 1 profile. So it's a 1-inch range, 2 attacks, 3s and 4s with 1 rend and 1 damage. So a little bit fightier than the other Warscrolls that we've seen so far. We are, of course, on a 9-inch move with 2 wounds, 6 bravery, and no save. We are at 0 save. But their unit size is 6. And did I write here what size base they're on? No, but they are on 40mm bases. So for 90 points, you get 6 of them on 40mm bases. So they take up quite a bit of space, because one of their roles is going to be screen. So they have 2 abilities. One is Savage Pup, add 1 to the rend for attacks made with this unit if it made a charge move in the same turn. This is similar to the Kill the Boss on Nash Tooth. So when they make a charge, instead of getting +1 attack, they're getting +1 rend. So it puts them to 2 rend. So they still don't deal very much damage, but they deal more damage than lots of other small units do. And then the real ability is Smell of Prey. So if this unit receives the redeploy command from another Cool Boys unit, that unit may also immediately redeploy, even if it is not eligible to do so. So the way that I envision this is a squad of Nash pups that are sort of running around, being a screen for Bolt Boys, and then if the Bolt, because the Nash pup pack can't issue commands to themselves, so they have to sort of stay within range if they want to receive any commands. They don't have to, right? They can run off and do their own thing, but then they can't get any commands. So if they're within range of Bolt Boys, the Bolt Boys can redeploy the Nash pups, and then they themselves can also redeploy. So this puts it in some really interesting situations, like the Nash pups can redeploy towards an enemy, and the Bolt Boys can redeploy away from the enemy, or the Nash pups and the Bolt Boys can redeploy towards each other, setting up Unleash Hell a little bit better, or the Bolt Boys and the Nash pups can both redeploy forward, or maybe, you know, the Nash pups redeploy, but they redeploy very, like, a short distance, like almost nothing, right? And then the Bolt Boys move up towards the Nash pups to put themselves within range. So I kind of thought this would be a really, really simple but really powerful ability. So let us know what you think. Come join the Discord. Come be part of the conversation. There's lots going on. Always lots of people, lots of friendly people chatting and answering questions for new players and talking about lists and changes and showing off their models and looking for games in TTS and the like. It's actually getting pretty big. I think we almost got a couple hundred people in there now, and it's not very old. Yeah, 195 people. It's fantastic. So, but yeah, till then, like, subscribe. Wah.